I have you.
You have me, all right. Well, this is kind of a twofold purpose here. My name is Scott Nyegaard, and I think I know every one of you. But I have recently started an organization, a consulting organization called Legacy Group. And this is just one of those caveats where I get a chance to share some of my opinions, some of my vision of the world, the way I see things with you. And one of the topics that I do train on is service. And so we want to talk a little bit about service today and how that impacts you. For me specifically, that's one of the areas I train in. And I'll just kind of click through my little screen here every once in a while. My training is in psychology. I have industrial organizational psychology, which basically, for lack of better expression, means business psychology. So that's one of the things I work in, I work with. I train in leadership areas. I train in interpersonal skills, motivational leadership connections on how do you work with individuals. Also train specifically about thinking and behavior and why we do or don't do what we do. I work a lot with corrections. I've trained in Ohio and South Dakota and Louisiana recently. And so I work a lot with corrections and state facilities, Department of Corrections. And then once again, today's topic is about service. And in some fashion, you serve others. And that's what we want to talk about today, is whether that's in your profession, whether it's through your tax services or through teaching students or through selling insurance, you serve your clients in that professional manner. As well as personally, we all have an opportunity to serve. With the recent Memorial Day weekend, obviously military is a great example of those who serve in our country, in our community, in our neighborhood. I just read an article last night online about an individual who got the Medal of Honor because he took an active service to the farthest degree that he could. He sacrificed actually his hand. They were under attack, and he grabbed a live grenade and threw it away to save his comrades. And it took his hand and obviously injured him as well. But that's a pretty exemplary act of service. And so as we look at that level, we may not be at that level of service. We may not be saving others' lives. And yet, service is an option that all of us can encounter on a daily basis. So you say, why should I serve? Why should I do anything with service? An interesting study has just been recently published. Dr. Lewis Terman, back in 1924, started studying human behavior. And he began to look at longevity, length of life. And so one of the very basic reasons that service is a benefit is because if you're involved in service, you actually live longer. So if you enjoy life, don't want a premature death, service is actually one of those curtailers of how do you access longer life. They looked at it in the terms of consideration. How do you connect and consider other people? How are you benevolent to other people? So that's one of the main areas that some of that studies found, is that serving others connects to length of life. Happiness is also another psychological factor. People who are involved in service often report a higher level of satisfaction in their lives of happiness than those who are egocentric or focused on serving themselves. So becoming benevolent leads to greater happiness as well, which also connects to our fulfillment in life. You feel like you're accomplishing something. There's a dynamic of, you know what, this was not about me. I went and I helped out at a homeless shelter, or I served a supper to the needy, and that was not about me at all. And so it gives me a feeling of fulfillment and completeness in my life. So there's a psychological benefit there. Stress reduction is also another benefit to service. For me, I find a lot of stress reduction in going out and running. But when I connect to other people as well, when I volunteer at my church or my other organization on Thursday nights, connecting to those people gives me less stress in my life. I feel like I'm accomplishing something. So it gives me a purpose overall. And so that's some of the benefits of being involved in service, is how do you don't do it just for yourself, even though you get some residual effects back. obviously impacting lives. There's many tragedies that have gone on recently, tornadoes recently down in Joplin, that have impacted lots of lives, and they're in need of service. And so once again, it's one of those benevolent things that we can do to go and impact and help others, ultimately changing their life. We were talking some prior to this few minutes here about actually going on a trip where you go and you help and you do service to those who are in need. And it does, it impacts lives. It changes part of our makeup as an individual because we've given of ourself. And I've talked to teenagers, I worked with a lot of teenagers, and when they have an opportunity to do something of that nature, oftentimes they will come back with that, yes, that changed a course, a path of my life because I connected and I gave of myself when I got nothing in return. And so it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful how it impacts our life, pretty powerful how it impacts the lives of others.